so then you're like, oh, I need a partner. What if you play beer pong with me?
I don't really show them those videos. That's in the past, but we bring it up for.
Just cut it and put it right here.
Put it right there. Hey guys, it's Ethan, and this is episode 3 of What's New With You. I'm here with Yuena, who I've known for quite some time. I would say we met in college, right? You want to give a little introduction of yourself?
You met me when you were in college.
I was in college, yes. Yeah.
Yes. So, hi, I'm Yuena. What else am I supposed to say?
What do you like to do? What do you do?
I don't know. I was gonna spit out what I usually write on emails. It just was like, hi everybody, my name is Yuena, and I'm a New York City based social media influencer.
But you gotta talk from the heart.
Okay, from the heart. Okay. Well, hi everybody. My name is Yuena. I am a mom of 2, and I just like to travel, create, and eat a lot of food.
Awesome. So, we've known each other for what, about 6 years, 5 years,
what?
7? No, actually long.
I think 6 is probably the closest. I think.
So I think it's very funny that the story of how we met.
Oh man. Okay.
Do you remember?
I remember. So do you want to tell your version or my version?
All right, wait. We should do 2 different versions, like my side and your side.
I know. Just cut it. So I'll tell you the pretext, and then we can get to the point of the moment we met. So basically, what happened was, I don't remember what it was. It was like the weekend before my assistant at the time, Janie, was going to quit. And she did such a good job. She's very hardworking. And so, I think I made a bet with her. I said, if you get X amount of this done, then, because she was, begging me to go hang out with her and, go to a party with her. And I was like, I haven't partied. I'm old. I'm in this, corporate life. Oh, God, that's so long ago. And so I was like, no. And then she goes, please. And so I was like, okay, if you do this, then I'll go. Yeah. So then I went, and then I didn't expect to know anybody there. And I didn't know you at the time either. But, my best friend Kev was there. And I was like, this is great. I'm hanging out with him. And he introduces me to his fraternity brothers. In comes Ethan. No, I'm kidding. No, but he said, I was like, oh, there's an Asian kid. Because this party was, all mixed, very diverse. Yeah. But there was, 3 of us. There was you, me, maybe Jackie. Jackie was probably one of them, and Ryan.
Oh, so
and Ryan. So there was 4 of us. There was 4 of us, and so I was like, okay. And then I remember, Kev just did a quick introduction. You're mad loud from
me.
From what I remember, when you're drunk, and so I'm still trying to be professional because this girl's still my assistant, right? And so then you're like, oh, I need a partner. What if you play beer pong with me? And then you can pick it up from here. I'll jump in. So,
I was it was basically, I think it was a fraternity party that my fraternity was throwing. Oh. This was back in 2012. I'm there. I think I'm just turned 21 at the time. Yeah. And
young Ethan.
Yeah, young Ethan. It was just wild, and I was just like, yo, I need a beer pong partner. Yeah. I saw you. I'm like, all right, yo, let's play beer pong. And then the night happened, and
No, there was more to that.
There was more. I don't remember.
So what happened was, there was the other team, and you and I just started playing beer pong, and then he threw the ball in, and it blew it out.
Oh, really? That's a
you
very
don't remember?
Fine detail.
No, I remember this because you were like, holy crap, I've never seen anybody who's done that before. And then you gave me a hug, and then I was like, oh, okay, because you're like, yo, that's mad crazy, and this and that. So then the guy threw in another ball, and it went into 2 cups, and it blew it out again. And you were just so mind blown. You were like, wow. I was like, girl, you can blow.
That is a very fine detail that I don't even remember.
The reason why I remember that so much was because of what happened 2 days later.
That's all.
No, because you were like, oh my God, you you grabbed my face, kissed me on the cheek, and was like, I love you. Because you've never seen that before.
So wait, that was that was a Thursday night or Friday night?
Friday night, I remember.
And then I just remember
Monday morning.
Monday morning. I remember someone referred me over to a job interview. I'm like, I think I was working part-time. I was still in school. And then I'm like, yeah, sure. Let me, check it out. Explore new opportunities. So then I remember going to an office in Flushing, going up some stairs. I think I was like wearing a suit and stuff, right? And, you know, sitting down, waiting to be called into the office, open the door, I sit down, and look who it is in front of me that's interviewing me. And it's Yuena, and I'm just like, wait a sec. We just partied together 2 days ago. And that was it.
It's so funny because literally I think like Friday night, I wasn't even like, I wore probably just like, like it wasn't anything formal. It was probably just like semi-dressed down. It wasn't like anything fancy. It wasn't anything sexy. It was literally just like
I don't remember
casual. Yeah, no. And then because like I probably wouldn't have agreed to go to the party like super corporate-y.
Yeah.
And then come Monday, we were both in blazers. Like went from a ratchet party on Friday and then Monday morning. And the thing is that I saw your name on my calendar and I was like, Janie. I was like, but then at the same time, like we were both super professional. That was like the funniest thing. I swear, if there was like, it's like a camera with us at all times. We were both super professional. I was like, oh, I'm like, hi, are you Ethan? And you're just like,
yes.
Yes.
Yes. I remember you.
No, you didn't say that. You were just like, you're like, oh, Miss Lee. And I was like, hello. And I'm like, please follow me here. And literally like an hour and a half interview, because I remember those interviews are so long because it was for the full-time financial position. Whatever position. And so it was just like super long. But like, and I shared this story actually recently because of the because of the video that I had. They were like, oh, how do you know Ethan? I'm like, oh man.
There we go.
So then it was just kind of like I said, but you aced that interview. Like I've interviewed a good amount of people, but you completely killed it. And then literally like I was just like, okay, well thank you so much. Like if you do get the position, I'll definitely like let you know within 2 to 3 days. And you're like, okay, great, thank you. And then as we're walking out, you're like, are we off the record now? And I was just like, yeah. You're like, yo, this is so crazy. I was like, yes, this is crazy. But I mean, no, the funniest part is that we were so professional about it too. Like we were just like, I was just like, you know, what are your goals in the next 5 years? And you were just like, well, these are my goals and this and that. But I know inside both of us we were like dying. Well, like this is so crazy.
It's like the work hard, play hard mentality.
Oh yeah, no, that was except we switched it. It was like play hard and then work hard. Yeah.
That was the
beginning.
That was the beginning. And then how did we, I mean, we've worked on some projects and we just, there was like an event or something. I'm just trying to remember.
Which event?
We started doing like you started doing YouTube videos and then we got connected that way as well, or?
So there was this one day that, and I remember this distinctly. I don't know, you're just like very memorable. Like I feel like there's certain things that like I don't remember. Like I have like a goldfish memory. But then this I remember is because I had this short film idea. Like let's just say like September 14th in 2014. Oh my god, so a long time ago. But yeah, so I had this short film idea and within a week I had casted and like, you know, got the entire crew together and like wrote a script together and we were shooting it within the week, which is crazy because I don't think I can ever do that again. Yeah. But I think it was just like a different period in my life where like things can just happen like that. Now it's like the coordination and like the talent. Like I don't know, I was just like really lucky with the talent and the cast and crew that I had hired. But I think I remember when I had the script and you came out with like this one song. I don't remember what song. What was it? River Flows in You?
Yeah, River Flows in You, and I was doing like a rap.
Yeah. And I love River Flows in You. Like that's something I've been listening to for like decades, I think. Yeah. And so when you like posted it up and I was just like, oh my God, I was like, he's freaking talented. I was like, that's crazy. And I don't know, I was just like, you know, just was curious. I'm like, you know, here's my script, let's see what you can do, because you did talk about the friend zone very slightly, I think, or being rejected in that song. And so I was like, maybe he can do something with this beat, right? And so it's interesting because the song I sent you is definitely not your style, but it was like,
it's like a ballad almost.
And very Korean. And like, but that was the song when I first listened to it, I fell in love with it. I listened to it over and over and over again. It was called Tears. And I had like that's where the short film came, like from me listening to that song. So then I was like, okay, this is my script, let's see what you can do. And you like made a rap that was like amazing. Like I still get comments for it, they're like, yo, the rap section is so crazy.
So that was definitely a fun time. So kind of give some context to it. Do you want to talk a little bit about like your YouTube and like Instagram, just so people have context of like the stories and videos that you make?
It's just crazy to talk about it because it's been so long. Like I didn't even realize it's been that long. Like
it's been a while.
Like so many things has happened. So I used to do makeup videos. Like that was like my very first video like on YouTube, but then I knew like that really wasn't true to who I was. I was just kind of doing it because I felt like that's the only thing people would really watch on YouTube. So then, but what I really ultimately want to do is like give, like, you know, motivate people, give advice, or like, you know, just help people in some way, shape, or form. And so I started to do like how to be a gentleman. Like, you know, my son and like his friend was like the two little actors. And then I did my first skit, and then I did the short film literally like a couple weeks later. And so it was like I realized telling stories was definitely my thing. Like, you know, like I wish someone had told me from the beginning that was my thing.
Like instead of doing makeup, just do let's tell your story.
No, like I mean the very beginning, like don't even go for a corporate job. Like, you know, just go straight into like telling stories. But you know, once I realized that, I was like, oh, you know, I should just stop doing my corporate job and just go straight into it. And so that is what I ended up kind of doing. And then I focused straight onto YouTube, where I did do food reviews and short films and skits, and just all different ways of telling stories, whether it was like interviewing random people in streets or something.
I was about to say, I think the most interesting thing about you was you had like a wide variety of different types of videos. It wasn't always one thing. It wasn't always like dramas. There was I think the one that kind of went viral here in New York was the subway one. And that was like the one like everyone in New York City could like relate to. It's like oh, the guy that's like dancing on the pole, the guy that's like taking up all the seats, and you're
like touching your hands when you're touching the pole. No, it's that video was crazy. I mean, that's pretty much like that's what made me, I mean, I already knew that had viral capabilities. I usually have a good sense of what can or cannot go viral. The only problem for me is like getting it in front of people, you know, like not having the fan base. And, you know, like it's really nice whenever my fans are kind of like, you deserve so many more followers, like, you know, or not followers, but like you deserve so many more subscribers, or why don't you have 2 million subscribers already? And that's super sweet and really touching. But I'm like, you know, it's just having a whole production just takes so much time and effort. Like one of my last short films or even skits had a 40 people set, and which is like crazy. It was literally like 40 people on set, and like, but you know, and that at that point I literally had no budget either. It was literally no budget, so it was really nice for all the people that like did collaborate with me and stuff like that, saw the potential and invested their time in me. You know, it wasn't even like anything I can offer. Exactly. Like, because I didn't have any sort of like resources. It was just all out of,
it's not like you're a production company.
No, I'm not. I'm literally just this is just me. Like, that's just the whole thing. But no, I mean, like, I think so I did YouTube for a while, and then I had gotten pregnant with my daughter, and I knew that doing 40 people productions was not going to be something I can keep up with like a new baby daughter. So then I moved on to Instagram. And so with Instagram, it's interesting because people are just like, you know, like, how did you get started and etc. And it's actually a very simple story. It's just I was taking pictures of my daughter, and it was like, I guess brands started to notice. And I mean, that wasn't my goal. I didn't even know like influencer was even a thing. You know, like,
we're all just taking photos.
Exactly.
My dog, or like
like 3 years ago, it was just totally like, it is what it is. And so I was taking pictures of my daughter, and then this brand emailed me. It was just like, hey, like, you know, these are really nice pictures. Do you mind taking some pictures with like a baby bottle in it? And then like, we'll send you some free baby bottles. And I was like, hell yeah, baby bottles cost up to like $15. Like, I don't know why, you know, but they are really expensive. So I was like, sure. And then next thing was like another product. I don't even remember. And then I think like one of my first like paid campaigns was like a baby play mat, like a little mat that they just like lay on. Exactly. And then the next one was actually like Tampax, which is like a tampon company. And then I don't know, like just all these names just started rolling in, and like 500 brands later, here I am.
I think it's crazy because like, one, I know you have such a high energetic like vibe to you, so I'm not like surprised that you know these brands would want to reach out to you. The editing and the photos and how they're taken are done really well, and it's something nice to look at. One thing I've been always curious about, and just like probably some people like listening and watching are curious about, is like what are like some of the, because it's not always like, you know, fun and games.
Oh, of course.
And
oh my god.
What are some of the like difficulties or maybe misconceptions that people think of like Instagram, like influencers and all that?
Got it. So I mean, there's so much. I feel like one of the biggest things is people think I'm shooting all the time. Like I'm like definitely not. Like it's exhausting. Like, you know, people think that like, you know, when you go to like a glamorous hotel, of course it's gorgeous. You know, of course you're not like paying say like $500 a night for it. Yes, you do get the free room, but you also have to understand it's like when I travel, because I have kids, I don't really like travel like you know
vacation
like I have to vacation. I can't, like I don't have that luxury to. Like even when I went to Bali recently, I flew like 36 hours just to be there for 4 days. And then I came back and flew back within. So I was only there for like 4 full days. And think about it. When you travel, you need a day just to recover. And that didn't happen because we didn't have the time to do that. And you have to like shoot stories. You have to take pictures. You have to do a video. You know, you have to vlog. You know,
there's a lot that goes behind it.
Yeah. So it's like I'm literally shuffling electronics while trying to like figure out my itinerary. And like it's just rare that I even really get to enjoy my time. And like, you know, some people can be like, well, that's kind of like a sad way to live, because it's like, don't you want to go and enjoy it? But at the same time, it's also like it goes in both ways. Like, you know, it has its good, it has its bad, but it comes with a lot of sacrifice at the same time, because vacation's no longer like a vacation. And someone asked me this as something like, if you can turn like if what's like a self-care hobby that you have. And I was just like, well, it used to be photography, but then I turned that into a job. And then it used to be vacationing, and then I turned that into a job. So now I'm a little confused as to, but I mean, I guess if you make your hobby your job, at least you're doing something you enjoy. So it comes at both ends. It's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. And I mean, a lot of my photos, sometimes people are just like, oh my god, like how did you get it so empty? And I'm like, listen, I shot that in 12-degree weather. Like nobody else is out in the streets right now, that's why it's empty at this time, you know. And so I've also gotten sick from shoots because I'm like ultimately sacrificing my health just to like get a specific shot or a nice shot. Like but you know, people only see that 1 second where I'm smiling at the camera, but like literally one of this other shoot that I did with the Winter Lantern Festival.
Oh yes.
I fell down on pebbles because I was wearing 6-inch heels for the really long dress I was wearing. And my elbow was like scraped up and it was like bleeding. It got onto like the white fur like that I was wearing from a company that was borrowed. And so it was just like chaos all over the place. But then I was like, no, we have to keep shooting, like you know, like for the video and stuff like that. So I mean, and I feel like that's also something that's really nice being in our generation, is being able to have a creative aspect. Like I would have never thought this is what I was going to end up doing 10 years ago.
10 years ago
like
was not a thing.
It's completely like out of the realm of what I can potentially even do. So I can't even imagine myself if I was born in the 1950s. I feel like if they're like, I'm like, I want to be a photographer, they're like, oh god, good luck, girl. Like, you know, where are you going to even start? So even though like, yes, this situation, I mean, not this situation, but this wherever I am in terms of Instagram, YouTube, like it's very saturated because everybody wants to be creative, everybody wants to do their own thing, which is great. But it's also like it comes with a lot of competition, but it's also nice because it challenges you. It makes you grow and makes you think outside the box of like, what else can I do?
You're also like doing, you know, me, like my full time, I'm in office, you know, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 7 later, and then I feel like at least on a day-to-day it's a little bit more exciting. I mean, obviously there's a lot of the sacrifice, like you mentioned, like health, and it's not always as easy as just like I as a photographer on the side, I know like those shots and like getting up early in the morning for the sunset, sunrises, stuff like that.
I don't sleep when I travel.
Yeah, it can definitely be a lot. I mean, I've always, like you mentioned, a point in terms of like turning your hobby to your full time.
Yeah,
I've given that like so much thought for me personally. Like a lot of people ask me, oh, like would you ever turn your full time your photography going into full time? And me personally, I said no, just because my type of work in photography is very like person facing, face to face. And then at the end of the day, I feel like if I have to rely on people for like my livelihood, it takes like the fun and it takes the fun out of it. It's like, oh, I have to contact this couple or this person, like, because I need X amount of dollars.
You need a person in front of you.
I'd rather not do it like that. So that's why, like, everything for me personally is just on the side and like fun.
I mean, well, I think what we do is like different too, like because because for me it's like I feel like I also do content creation for brands, so that's not fully solely on like, oh, I need another human being. Like,
that's true.
And so so sometimes I need a product, you know, or something of that sort. And it's also interesting for me because it's like hearing that from you. It's like, you know, it's interesting because I feel like you could totally go into the creative side 100% as well, because you have so many different contents, so many different interests, so much different talent. I don't think that was proper English, but that's okay. Like, but you're just super talented. Whenever
you know, you're one of the few people that actually know that, like, or like seen me like rap and
what? That's crazy.
Like,
no,
not that many people, like I'm more or less known for like, I guess, my monthly recap videos. Yeah. But like the people I've met in the past, like probably 2-3 years, or
which is a lot of people.
I mean, it's they. I don't really show them those videos. That's like in the past, but we bring it up for.
Just cut it and put it right here.
Put it right there. Oh man, those are some good times. But all right, so I have a interesting debatable question. I put up my story a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And I could be misquoting it, but it was like, what would you rather have? I think it was like something like 200,000 like Instagram followers or $100,000 salary. My point of view, just because of how I am, I prefer the 100K salary. But since you have a little bit more insight, what would your perspective be on that?
I don't know. It's interesting because both.
Maybe
like I'm like, which one do I pick? Because you said 200,000 followers. Yeah. Well, I already have 200,000 followers. So it's.
Oh wait, how many followers do you have? I honestly, it's like 200.
It's like 260, 270, one of those.
Wow, that's a lot.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, is that I don't like define myself by my followers. Yeah. And I also
you shouldn't.
And I also don't define myself based on how much I make, or so it's tough because I have 200,000 followers, but they're not all active.
Oh yeah.
Like, and so, but there's potential in both, in having 100,000 and or 200,000, or you can have 200,000 followers and still make 100K. Yeah. Like oh my God, like there's so much potential for it, or you can have 2,000 followers and not 100K as well. So like there's so many different ways I can go. But there's this mom that's also like a Instagrammer or like a content creator that has $100,000 job and 150K followers.
So best of both worlds.
And 2 kids, and she has 2 houses. And I'm like, do you sleep? And she's like, no, I don't. I mean, but it's definitely like doable. And it doesn't matter if you have a $100,000 job salary. It's what you do with it, and the same thing with the 200,000 followers. It's what you do with it. Like, like 200,000 followers could potentially grow you into different aspects with your influence, as well as the 100,000 followers. I mean, 100,000K job, because it's like you can have that job, but it's costing your happiness. So is it really worth
it's more
it?
or less like on the spectrum of like, what's going to bring you to your happiness? Is the money going to bring you happiness? Is can you convert those followers to whatever it is
to money or happiness or to like bigger things?
I think the big point is, I think from a lay person's point of view, they think that probably like Instagram followers they have, or Instagram influencers, they have it easy because they automatically think, if I had it, then I can easily do X, Y, and Z. But there's a lot more to the execution.
Everything comes with like a lot of hard work. Like nothing is like just handed to you at like a plate. Like I mean I get sometimes some DMs where people are just like, teach me on how to be successful like you, and then I always say like, sweetie, like just because I have X amount of followers does not mean I'm successful. Not to say I'm not either. Everyone first off, everyone's success definition is completely different. How you define success, and then also how you like even if you are successful, what you do with that success is also super important. So I said to like that person, you should figure out what truly makes you happy first, and what you want to do with your life before just thinking like followers equals. It's never that simple. It's never ever that simple. Like
job, good paying job does not equal happiness.
No,
it does not.
Well, some people are okay with that because they want a stable life, and that there's nothing wrong with that either. Like I'm like, chase your dream. If that's your dream, then go for it. Like
I'm trying to do like the best of both worlds. I'm trying to have like the good stable life, and then also
the fun,
do this stuff,
the creative stuff.
Not of the extreme fun, none of that beer pong stuff. I mean
that was like 6 years ago. Okay,
that was longer, right? No,
6, 7. I don't know. When were you in college? I was
2012. I think it was. I think it was 2012.
Okay. I think it was probably 2013.
I should like check my email.
No.
Like, I feel like.
Oh my god! Pull up. You have an interview.
Come Flushing his address.
Oh my gosh.
That was insane.
2013 most likely, or 14. 13. Yeah.
So speaking of like all the creative stuff and that we touched upon on Instagram and YouTube. Do you like, what are some of the projects and things that you're working on like right now?
So like I said, I work on brand videos. So like, let's just say if someone has like a new, and then not even a new, like just even if you've been an established brand, let's say you need like a restaurant video, we'll do like, I'll do some videos specifically for you. Sometimes I'm in front of the camera, sometimes I'm behind the camera. Or if you have like a product, recently I just flew to Seattle and I filmed like this really like it was like my girlfriend's house. She had like the most beautiful house.
Oh wow.
And so she owns like a washi tape company. Do you know what washi tape is?
What's a washi tape?
So like, insert picture here. But it's basically like, like planners back in the day, like how girls had them, like the Bablu, the Morning Glory, yeah. So like,
I had one of those planners.
Really? I'm sorry.
Is this a planner?
Yeah. But you had like washi tape. You can decorate like the sides and stuff like that.
So is it just like a planner with like you could doodle and stuff?
No, like not the planner part. It's she makes the decorations, like the stickers and stuff like that. Okay. And it's actually like $1 million business.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, like people love washi tape. Like people are addicted to it. Tape. And she sells out within minutes of 5,000 inventory minutes.
Wow.
And people take it and flip it for like $150. And those things are only $3 to $5 depending on what the size is, which is insane. Anyways, so I do like brand videos, and then I'm working with different partners, like Amazon was one of my clients. Huffy Bikes is one of my current clients, and I'm trying to think who else. Actually, a recent campaign that is going to be doing is with Scrabble.
Oh wow!
So I work with like all different realms of different, like whatever it is that they need, because sometimes like I'll just come in with like a creative piece, because it's not just like. Sometimes like the owner themselves have a great idea, but they just don't know how to execute it. Or sometimes like they don't have no idea. They're just like, go and do what you want with it.
So you're like working with like so many different.
Yeah. So I work with like mom and pop shops, and then
like big
with
corporations.
yeah, like, and which is a lot of pressures, like sometimes, but sometimes they're also like very very like
Down to earth,
yeah, they're just kind of like, we
because they
trust
trust. Yeah, I was about to say,
exactly.
if they're spending X amount of dollars, they probably seen your work, they trust you. And it's just go ahead and do it. But any so that's like more like I'll call that like contracting, consulting jobs. Any like passion projects that you're working on?
So with East Side Stories, so that's a YouTube channel that I had started with 3 other creatives. And so over there, we just want to highlight Asian American stories that are untold or that they're told, but we just want to be able to have an outlet specifically for Asian Americans, because that's something that's, 1, missing on the East Coast, I'd say. And then 2, just something we just want to normalize it more, you know, and just give Asian Americans like a place to go to where they can relate to stories. And also, like, you know, I actually fought this with my partners on this, is the very first title, they wanted 50 plus Asian Americans. And I said, take that out. Like, you know, I wanted it to normalize Asians, like Crazy Rich Asians. I hated that it was called that. Like, you know, even though it was based on a book, I get it. But it's like, I really wish it was just called like Singapore in the Evening or something, you know, like maybe a better name, but like, you know, just something that it was more normalized, because I'm like, why does it have, that's why I was so happy when, you know, Parasite won, because it's not like Korean Parasite, you know.
Crazy Korean drama.
Exactly. It's literally just Parasite. And I love that. So like, you know, that's potentially what I like would want us to do, like as a collective, is just normalize, like, you know, having Asians in entertainment in Hollywood more often, without it being like, oh, did you see that one Asian like movie, comedy, which Fresh Off the Boat just stopped. But, you know, so stuff like that. But so one of the things I'm also going to do is we want to shoot like a coronavirus like quick video, like
awareness.
What we did.
Just like awareness for.
Oh, yeah. Just to bring more awareness, because I feel like people, you know, just with this going on, there's a lot of racism going on, and that's something I spoke about from day one. Like, you know, as soon as I noticed it. Yeah, no, because it's just like people look for any excuse to like, you know, be like an a-hole. Like, you know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here, but it's like, so I
say whatever.
Yeah.
We already talked about beer pong, so.
Yeah. It's like everything's on the table now. But no, so it's like I wanted to bring more awareness to that. And then also in terms of like, you know, getting back onto YouTube, like I realized people still, like my hardcore fans are still from YouTube. Like, you know, people would chase me down for a picture and be like, oh my God, and get really so cool. Shy on even talking to me. And I'm like, and I can tell exactly where they're from because of how shy they are, even like just being nervous around me. And I'm like, this is odd. But then pictures they're just like, oh, you're that girl that takes really nice pictures on Instagram. And I'm like, do you follow me? Like, I think so. Like, let me see, you know, like, but it's not as like, they're not as like, say, I guess like starstruck, you know, like not that I want them to be, but it's just like I love that it was more of like a community and stuff like that. And so like I'm planning, I've already have like 10 videos lined up ready to come back, but they're like just I'm just waiting to set everything up so that way I have no more excuses, like in terms of coming back. And so they're like set
a schedule.
Exactly. Yeah. They're like food videos, and they were like food reviews were a thing before any other YouTuber did it. Like I started doing them back in like 2013, but then I stopped because everyone liked my short films.
Yes. People wanted,
Like there's like, so it's like makeup. Like I don't even think I have that many fans. And they're like a few. And then I did skits, and people were just like, oh my God, these are so hilarious. They're so funny.
I think it's hilarious and relatable.
Yeah. And then the music videos, they were just like, they're like, wow, like this is so nice. Like, you know, like you have a good eye for like directing and also like picking out talent. And then it was like food videos. They're like, yo, like where have they been? I haven't seen them in a while. And then short films, they're like, Yuena, like direct something. And I'm like, okay, so that scale. So I'm glad that like I'm finally making this push to come back to you, you know, and it could completely like, because the algorithm is completely different now like everywhere, you know, like they're like all about niches. So I have no idea where it's gonna go, but I think I'm just happy to produce content for the people who will just enjoy it, you know.
That's good. I'm just trying to think anything else. Anything else that you wanted to talk about? I mean, I also put like a bunch of like links below for like some of the videos.
Everything we've talked about.
Oh, yeah, from videos from the party to the East Side Stories, to probably some of the like the work that we've done together. I was in one of them, right? I was in the short, like the music video for the short film.
Yeah.
And also for the East Side Stories video, like you guys came out with 2 different videos already, right? Yeah. That was I was in that part of the interview process. That was an interesting experience. Yeah. I didn't really think about that type of love stuff in a while, so.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Sometimes like I feel like we're so busy in our like day to day that we don't reflect on certain things, and it's like I feel like it's really nice to sometimes just sit back and just like it's almost therapeutic to just like, you know, including even this podcast, as weird as it sounds, it feels very nice to kind of like reflect on some stuff, because sometimes we focus so much on the stuff that we like failed at or didn't do, but it's like instead of looking at it from that point of view and feeling like, oh, you know, I failed doing this, but it's like, okay, I learned and now I know how to do it better. You know?
I like honestly the whole point of this podcast is a little bit of self-reflection, catch up with people I haven't sat down and talked to for a while, and it's really really something I'm very passionate about, because I truly value, you know, all of my friendships. You know, people drift apart for whatever reason, but I like to use this as a good to sit down, have a nice conversation. But
no, you're gonna be my homie for life.
Anything else you wanted to touch upon? Any shout outs?
I mean, I feel like my biggest thing with us that's super interesting is just like we have a lot of different circles. And our circles always tend to just blend in, like like wherever I go, someone will know Ethan, and wherever you go, they'll be like, you know, Yuena. It's really interesting how like kind of like life just like brings you full circles, even small circles and big circles.
It's the New York community, specifically Queens.
Queens.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think everything happens for a reason, and even if it doesn't, like you can make it a reason. And like I think it's very like I feel like your vibe is just like super like great, like I feel like
super great.
Super great. I know I couldn't think of the right word, so I had to say something. No, but I feel like you just have like a certain energy that like people love to vibe off of. Like I feel like I always like have a good time with you, and like, you know, and I don't know if it can be vice versa. What are you laughing at?
No, you're just like, oh yeah, everyone has a good time. Just thinking of beer pong.
No, I'm not even talking about that. Just like like just even like, you know, there's one video that we did for Shape of You.
That was so fun.
It still hasn't came out yet, just because I got caught up in like my daughter, and it was just
there's a lot going on.
There was just like no time, you know. So, but it's like, you know, I feel like some people would hold it against me, you know, like, or maybe that's just my own insecurities speaking out loud. But it's like maybe some people would be like, you know, that video never came out, like I'm sad, you know, even though that was like, again, another passion project. But because I really wanted to highlight like different Asian talents, like, you know, like it would be like Ethan, an accountant, and then is rapping, you know, like, but it's honestly, you're so talented. Like I honestly think like you can be like a legit, or whatever they use nowadays, kids use like valid, like no, but like legit rapper. Like honestly, you have the potential to do it. Like you're so good.
I know so good. For the people listening, watching, like,
they're like,
75% of them are like, what are you talking?
No,
if you release that video today, they'd be like, that is not Ethan.
No, but it's honestly, you're so good. You're so good. Every time whenever I give you like a script and I say like make a rap to this beat, you kill it. Like you literally kill it. And honestly, I'm not even into rap like that. Just like listening to your
neither am I.
Yeah. No, but I listen to like the songs that we made because like I forced you to make them for me. Like you're so good. You're so good. So we have to put at least some link in here.
All right. we'll put a little snippet of a rap lyric here and there. All right. With that, I think that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.
Bye.
And that's it. Awesome.
We did it.